appears to be leaking fluid from the valve stem, and this is probably the calcium chloride or whatever they used to put in these old tires, and it is corrosive. And it is already, man, just in, this heck can't have been doing this for very long, and it's already corroded up this rim where it's leaking down. So I need to see if I get this fixed, and I don't know. I guess I'll just try to see if I can tighten the core of the valve stem, see if that takes care of it. But man, looks like it's leaking pretty good. You can't see it, but it's a constant stream running out. You can see it right here, and you just see a constant stream of it going out. Probably got worse as soon as I took this cap off of there. So the cap was probably the only thing really keeping it from leaking very much. Oh, now it's really leaking. Now it's really leaking. I'd say this whole valve stem's shot. I'm gonna take the valve stem out. It's leaking like a sieve. It's gonna shoot everywhere. Not good. Not good at all. Of course, it's under pressure. It's gonna shoot out. Well, come on. There's a brand new cap. Maybe that'll stop it for a little bit. So I'm gonna pull the tractor over to the barn over there. We're gonna see if we can work on this and get this to stop leaking. So the fluid that's in there is very corrosive. It's just gonna rust these rims all the way out. And I've pounded on this tire before, and you can tell where the liquid level is, and the liquid level is somewhere about 75% full. And so what I do when I pull over to the barn, I'm going to try to get the valve stem to be straight up and down. So at least when I'm messing with it, maybe air will come out instead of liquid. And we're going to do our best to see if we can stop this leak and get the tire aired back up, because I really need to mow around here. That's what I was getting ready to do, is I wanted to mow, and I noticed this leak on the tractor. So let's go pull it over to the barn and see what we can do. I left the key on. I have a tendency to leave the key on because that's not how you turn off the tractor. You have to use a kill switch, or a kill lever. Actually, it's a linkage, and the tractor's dead. This is not going to be a good day. This is a brand new battery that I just bought last year, and this is the second time that I have totally discharged the battery. And it's my fault, 100% my fault. Oh, and it's not doing that battery any good, that's for sure. So I'm going to try this once again to try to replace the valve core that's inside of the stem. And from what I can tell, it is still leaking. So this cap did not stop it completely. Look at that. Really coming out. It's really going to shoot out if I can get this core out of there. It doesn't seem like my tool is locking into it. If it is, it's just stuck down there and it ain't going to come out. Well, try some needle nose. Take some pretty small needle nose. Oh. gonna get this stuff all over me. I don't know what this, I know it's corrosive on metal. There's the inside of the valve core. This little valve stem just came out. I do not know if we're gonna get the rest of that out of there. Alright, well, I think this little tool here is like a easy out for a valve core. So I main, oh, there she went. Ooh, it's a two-part deal. Look at that. Now that's coming out. These are a little different. A little different. Oh yeah. Looks like I need this piece right here. That's interesting. Well, at least this right here has plugged it off completely for now. Looks like I need to replace this piece of the valve stem. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get some water and I'm gonna wash all this calcium chloride or whatever this stuff is. I'm gonna try to wash that off of here so keep that from rusting. So I knew a tractor, like a valve stem in one of these tractors, big tractor tires, was somewhat different because a lot of times it looks like it kind of bolts to the rim to hold it in place. But it looks like it's actually, it's a two-piece deal. So hopefully I can replace that outer piece and fix it. See, I thought it was going to be like a normal valve stem like you have in a car or a lawnmower tire. And you just have this little bitty valve core that goes in the end of it and you tighten that down. I thought maybe it'd be something like that. But it does appear to be, it's somewhat different than this. So it may have one of these valve cores in there, I don't know. It didn't come out. But we actually have a bunch of old tires in a pile over here covered in blackberries, but I'm gonna go see if we got an old tractor tire that's like this. And hopefully it's got a two-piece deal like that, and maybe I can steal off an old tractor tire and use that instead of having to make a trip into town to try to find that piece. And if I can't find that piece, then maybe it just needs a whole new, you know, like a whole new, oh man, I'm losing the word, you know. Tire tube, that's the word I'm looking for. Hopefully it doesn't need a whole new tire tube because you'd have to take the wheel off, you'd have to take the tire off, take the, you know, take the fluid out of it, and take the tube out, put a whole new tube in there. It'd be a huge ordeal. So hopefully we can at least get this repaired and get it aired back up. So this is an old bolt-on tractor tire. It's one that you would attach on for a second so you make some dualies on your tractor. And of course it's upside down. Oh, I can see it. So actually it does look like the same style. I think I'm gonna get it out. I think we'll be able to do this. My luck, this is gonna have liquid in this tire too. Let's find out. Oh no, it doesn't. I got it out. Let's hope this one works. So when we bought this property, there was tons of junk everywhere, buildings falling down. And that was one reason we were able to get the property at such a good price, probably, is because there was just so much trash and junk and cleanup that needed to be done. And there was tires everywhere, everywhere. It's funny, we could walk about everywhere and we'd find a tire. We ended up trying to collect them up, piled them up. And there's been some tire collection days where they'll take tires, but they only take the ones that aren't on a rim. And we've gotten rid of like 50 or more tires. And we still have probably close to that amount. That's what's sad. Over there, they're all on rims. So I haven't gone to the trouble or the effort to try to cut them off the rims or pull them off the rims to get rid of the rest of those tires. But today, hopefully this paid off because ended up got this little piece that's going to thread into the tire tube, and hopefully this new valve stem, this valve core that's in there, and it does look like it has a regular valve core in there that would come out just like in a regular tire. So it looks the same on this end. Hopefully we can get this replaced. We will squirt some more of that fluid out, and hopefully we can get this replaced real quick. And then once it's charged up, we get the tire aired back up, I can finally do some mowing. All right, so this time I'm going to wear a face shield so I don't get splashed in the face. We're going to swap this as quick as we can. All right. Well, that ended up going better than I thought. I thought I'd be messing with this for a lot longer. Hopefully that sealed it up. So like I said, that fluid that's in there, I think it's called calcium chloride. I think that's what it's called. I may have that wrong, but it is corrosive and it's causing rust on the rims. And it'll cause rust probably on my tools as well, so I'm gonna make sure to wash those off. It's more corrosive than water, let's put it that way. So water will be better than the calcium chloride. I'm gonna take this tire, probably have to take it over to a garden hose so I can really spray it down. So I did find another cap to go on. This one actually, you can see that it does have an O-ring in the bottom of this valve stem cap. And that'd be the best thing to put on there. Something that has an O-ring as a secondary seal. I think some of those you get, they're just plastic and they don't have that O-ring in them. So the tool that I was using today, this is a 4-way valve tool for a tire valve. And of course one end is made to go into your valve stem and it will unthread the valve stem, take it out. So that way you have free flow of air through there. And there's your little valve core. It takes the core out. Now, the other side, the opposite side, this is made to thread onto the valve itself. Like if you're putting one of these in, you can put it through the hole of the rim and then thread this on, and this has helped to pull it in. And you can pull it in and get it popped into the rim on like a tire or car tire, or a lawnmower tire or anything like that. So then the next tool, this little tapered tool, has reverse threads. It's like an easy out, so you can thread that inside of there. And it'll thread until, it'll just keep on threading and getting tighter and tighter until whatever you're working on breaks free. And then hopefully it will loosen because you actually, you use this backwards to tighten it, and then it'll slowly back out whatever you're trying to get off. Easy outs are for like broken screws and stuff like that. And then I think this other side, I think it's like a little reamer, like a little tap, and you can thread that in there. It'll clean up your threads for the core. It'll make sure that you got good threads. So it's like a little tap, little thread tap for this valve core, so that you have good threads in there. And that's all this is. It's a little 4-way valve tool. I actually just picked it up a few weeks ago because Rebecca got a hole in her tire, and yeah, I ended up picking it up then when I ended up buying some patches and stuff for the tire. So the rim of this tire, of course, it's rusting. It's still right around the valve stem, ends up being like the worst place because any little minute leaks will get around where the valve stem is, and it'll start rusting that section out. And a lot of people will end up putting like a thick, heavy-duty washer, and they'll put that back on there and they'll weld it onto the rim to beef that back up as it rusts out. And the Alice Chalmers, when I got its rims were terrible, very rusted out. In fact, it finally got to the point where the rims failed. They actually collapsed and folded in. And then I was done. I couldn't do anything else with the tractor with the rims out around. It got that rusty. So I ended up had to buy rims for it, brand new rims. And then I ended up paying people to come over, take the rims off, take the fluid out, put new inner tubes in it, and put it all back together. And That was expensive. I think it was close to $1,000, like $500 a tire or something like that, or maybe $800. It was very expensive to pay somebody to come out and mess with tractor tires. And I put the old tires back on, new rims, so it could have even been more expensive. So the other day when I came out here to mess with this, I just started messing with it last night, and as soon as I got started, Rebecca came to me. This has just been, it's been a terrible weekend. We've had some bad luck this weekend. Rebecca came out to me and she said that the sewage was backing up into the basement of the house in the bathroom. So I had to stop messing with this tire last night, and I had to go mess with that. So let me take you over to the house. I'll show you our little sewer problem we ended up having. Well, you can probably see all this tall grass. I definitely need to be mowing. So the first thing I came out here to do when I found out the septic was backing up into the basement, there's actually a pipe right up there. It's covered in grass. You about can't see it. And that is where they poured water in to fill up my septic tank. And I looked down that pipe, and the water was all the way up to the top of the ground. That's how high the water was backed up. So this is the lid to the tank. I opened this up, this lid, took it off, looked inside, and I can see that the water level in here is lower than what was over there. So I knew it was plugged between here and over there. Well, this access cover is the exit of the septic tank, and then it goes over to our aerated system over there. So the access panel to the entrance of the tank is over here under the ground, and I had to dig it up. So I had to dig down about 18 inches to get to this access panel, which I do not like now that it is covered. It needs to have a riser on it, and that panel, this cover needs to be here in case this ever happens again. But the inlet of the tank, there's so much solids had kind of floated up and built up around it, it finally clogged up the inlet. And I had to get that unplugged, and I finally got everything flowing right, and I got everything kind of, the solids and everything stirred up. And everything looks good now, and it finally drained all of that out of the basement. And the lucky thing about it is it never really got farther than our bathroom. It just stayed right there on the bathroom floor. It didn't like flood the whole basement or nothing. So it could have been a lot worse. I had just been down in the basement beforehand. I'd come through, and I was getting oil ready outside so we could fry up some breaded tenderloins. And it was fine then. There's no smell, no nothing. And then here it is a few minutes later. Rebecca ran some laundry and the dishwasher, and it was enough water that it finally started coming up out of the toilet, and it started filling the bathtub up with sewage too. So yeah, it's not the best night in the world trying to get this all dug up and try to figure out where our problem was and get the basement cleaned up. So didn't get any of that on film, but I do know exactly how the septic system works now. It still uses the old septic tank, and then it overflows into our aerated system, which finally cleans the overflow and sends out clean water. But I think we've decided that even though it's only been 3 years since we had this tank put in, we're probably going to go ahead and have people come out and pump it out and clean it up, so that so the chances of this happening again will be at least quite a few years down the road. I'll give you a quick look inside the septic tank. You may not want to see this because it is a little dirty, but it's life. So open the septic tank up, show you. So all this stuff on top, that's mostly toilet paper that's floating on top, and it ended up where that got to where it kind of got solid, and it kind of became like a floating piece of solid material almost, and that kept on building up underneath it, and that it got thicker and thicker and thicker until it finally got to where it was underneath this pipe. That pipe's only probably about 18 inches, 2 feet long, and it finally got underneath that pipe where it plugged it, and then the water couldn't come in and go down that pipe. So then it started filling that pipe up and plugged it all the way up to the top with toilet paper, and finally started backing up toward the house. But luckily we got all this area, we got it broken up and loosened up, and we got everything flowing down now, and it's all unplugged. I know that may look disgusting to you, but that's a septic tank, you know. Stuff sits in there, it slowly breaks down, and there's a certain amount of material that's just going to float, and there's a certain amount of material that's going to go to the bottom, and you eventually have to have this all pumped out. Yeah, so this pipe right here, this is where they filled the tank full of water by pouring water in here. It's not a true clean out, and I was able to pull this cap off and look down it, and I could tell that the water level was like right here at the top of the ground. Now the true clean out is back there just under the porch, and that's the true clean out. So you can clean out about from the basement wall this direction. Now this pipe here was strictly just to fill the tank, and I could have cut this off and put it below the ground at some point in time and hide it, but I didn't, and that ended up paying off, being able to look down inside of this. So at least I have the ability where I can always look down here and make sure that the pipe is empty. If you see any water building up in there, I know that we got a problem. All right, it's been charging for a couple of hours now, so hopefully it'll start. Oh, should have let it keep going. Well, I think I got the leak on the tractor all fixed now. It seems to be holding just fine, and I've got it pressured back up with air, and I think we're ready to mow. So I think I got fairly lucky today. I mean, to be able to go over and find an old tire in a pile, and it to have the piece that I needed in it that was in good enough shape, I was able to thread that in there, and it stopped the leak, and it worked just fine. So I think I got fairly lucky with that. I'm definitely going to go try to find some of those pieces and keep a couple on hand as spare in case anything like this happens again. So a little bit of a learning curve. First time really messing with a big tractor tire valve like that. It was a little bit different than what I'm used to messing with on a lawnmower or a car. So a little bit of a learning curve there, but we got it fixed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and I'm going to do some mowing with it. That's probably how I'll finish the video. We'll finish it up with a little bit of brush hogging. And I'm actually going to brush hog around the house because I got the lawnmower all ready for Rebecca the other day, and she got about an hour into mowing and the belt broke on the deck. So then we ended up being another week behind on mowing. The grass is so tall that I might as well just run over it with the tractor and brush hog it back down. So we've had a few things this week that's just been bad luck, but luckily today I had some good luck. So I think that's it for today's video, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.